Miyabi is arguably the most influential character in Zenless Zone Zero. Even now, she is widely regarded as one of the best DPS options out there, but I believe her reign as the undisputed queen of the meta ended a long time ago. But despite this, many players still recommend her as a top tier pick, often ignoring the fact that the meta has shifted. Today I'm going to break down why Miyabi isn't the god tier DPS everyone thinks she is anymore, and why fans might be resisting that truth. From 1.5 through 2.1, Miyabi wasn't just good, she was the game. She was Zenless Zone Zero. And the team didn't matter either. You could play her mono ice and keep the boss under constant freeze. You could play her with Yanagi and keep stacking disorders on top of each other so Miyabi could go ham. Or you could even use some unconventional teams like, I don't know, Piper and Lucy. Not a good team by any metric, but Miyabi made that team work. That era is over. Starting in 2.0, we began seeing a steady stream of deadly assault bosses explicitly designed to counter Miyabi. At first, I thought this was a healthy balance. Miyabi was dominant, so introducing some ice-resistant or anti-anomaly enemies did seem fair to me at the time. But Hoyoverse didn't just stop there. They didn't just add some counters, they built an entire meta around excluding her. We are now at the end of 2.7, and I haven't seen a single boss in the last 7 patches that actually benefits Miyabi in any way or doesn't fuck around with her. Every new release seems to have a specific mechanic that nerfs her performance. Next patch, another boss designed to shut down anomaly buildup, and that boss is fucking ice weak and anomaly focused. It's no longer about balance, it's about full exclusion. In the other game mode, Shiyu defense, Miyabi wasn't hit that hard initially, but in 2.5 they completely changed how Shiyu defense worked. And while I think this wasn't a direct try to hurt Miyabi in some way, magically after that update, Ice Weak bosses became kind of rare, a lot rarer than before. But I will say that Miyabi is still doing a bit better in this game mode. And we are not done here yet. You have probably heard about a new element coming to ZZZ. This new element does offer a lot of synergy for every single element in the game, ice included. Thing is, Miyabi isn't technically ice, is she? She is frost, so she doesn't have any interactions with this new element at all. And this new elemental effect doesn't count as a disorder, so it won't give her any stacks anyway. And the last nail in the coffin that I kind of did mention in the DA bosses section, bosses like Defiler counter anomaly directly. Sure, that boss has ice resistant, but it also has a massive anomaly buildup, meaning everyone is bad against that. So let's not forget that anomaly characters literally just fucking die when fighting her. Hoyo also added bosses that were anomaly oriented, but also countered Miyabi directly. Not the anomaly class, Miyabi, just her. Miyabi is the only anomaly character that scales off of crit and crit damage. And guess what? We got 3 anomaly bosses in a row that take less crit damage. I do not want to hear you say, it's also a counter against attack and rupture, cause they also scale off of crit. To begin with, you are not bringing attack and rupture to an anomaly boss, but you might want to bring the Void Hunter Fox Mummy that you spent a lot of doubloons on. No Miyabi for you, cause this boss just took out a massive dump on your chest. Is all of this to say Miyabi is now an agent who cannot kill her in any way? No, she absolutely can kill her. But does she kill her like a tier 0 agent? Hell fucking no. That's why I don't care how many expert tags you slap on her profile. Mechanically, and from the results I'm seeing from my own Miyabi, people on my Discord, or any killer overall, she is simply not one of the top DPSs in the game anymore. She could be like top 5. She is quite frankly no longer tier 0. I cannot look at her and tell you that she is. Before we keep going, we need to figure out what tier 0 is and what every tier under it looks like. Again, this is my own definition, but I think we all can agree on it. But we could disagree on some things, but I think the core of what I'm saying is pretty fucking accurate, man. I feel like I'm spitting facts here. Anyway, T0 characters are the apex predators. They give you the highest amount of a score with the least amount of skill and and or money you need to spend on them. They are just simply that good. I would say they can give your average player a score of 35 to 40 and a more seasoned player scores above 40. They can also pretty much clear anything with no much effort. Tier 0.5 characters are characters that might be able to give you that sweet 35k or even 40k, even more, who knows. But they either need you to master them completely or they need a specific team. I would call them tier 0 light, but tier 0.5 is just a better name. And lastly, we have tier 1 units. You will only bring them out when the environment matches them. The weaknesses and classes match. Everything has to be perfect for a tier 1 unit to work. And if you have a few tier 0 or tier 0.5 units, you probably only use them for fun. You won't use a tier 1 unit unironically. Right now you can still get some decent scores with the newest premium team being Nangang, Yuzuha and Miyabi, given that you do have Nangang's engine. Again, without her engine is still the best team. Anyway, these scores, these really good scores happen against specific bosses or they just simply won't happen. But on some bosses, she still gets very good scores above the 35k mark. And that's basically tier 0.5 to me. That's why I believe Miyabi should simply drop to tier 0.5, where she actually belongs. Because if we are being honest to ourselves, if we look at the characters, Ye Shunguang, Arya, and Yi Xuan, they are top 3 in the order that I said. And Miyabi is just simply, I don't know. I don't see it, man. When I look at my Alice and my Miyabi side to side, I feel like they are not that far off at this point. I don't have an agenda against Miyabi. I pulled her, I used her, and I still to this day enjoy playing her. But it's ridiculous that while every other character gets demoted for inconsistent performance, Miyabi stays frozen at the top of the list. Hugo got demoted, Jane got demoted, I don't know, fucking Sanbi got demoted, Zhu Yuan, Ellen. The only two characters who ever went up and down are Sanbi and Miyabi. Thing is, Sanbi got a massive goddamn buff. She also did happen to get a pretty much useless agent that only works with her too. But Miyabi just kept getting worse and worse. She came down to tier 0.5 and then she went up. I do not see how that makes any sense, sport fans. How is it that she keeps getting worse but she's still sitting there snugly on tier 0? And we all know these days she kind of sucks to the balls. Come on, she's washed. Miyabi's dead, come on. This creates a real problem for newcomers, I think. When they look at the tier lists, they don't see the context or the history I just explained. They just see Miyabi at the top and think, damn, great, I'll pull her and it will be easy. The reality is far more complicated. The only counter argument I can think of for Miyabi staying in tier 0 is that Miyabi still destroys season 1 content, guys. And yes, that is a factual statement, but there are two major problems with relying on that logic. First off, she's not alone. Almost every other DPS can also destroy season 1 content, and many do it faster and more efficiently, if it's not ice. Aside from Bringer, a boss specifically made for Miyabi, tell me, cute little gay boy, what was the last time you saw Bringer? Second, where is this season 1 content? Sure, we see UCC, we see Marionettes, we see Typhon occasionally, we see Pompey from time to time, but with the pool of bosses in every rotation expanding, and a lot of them are season 2 bosses because they are the one who keep getting added because we are season 2, and at the end of it, we're gonna get to season 3, it's gonna get worse. We're gonna get a massive boss pool, and the chance of season 1 bosses appearing drops lower and lower. They can't disappear entirely, but they are becoming rare exceptions, and when they do appear, someone else will likely do the job too, not just Miyabi. So I don't think that's a be like, okay, Miyabi destroys season 1 content while everyone else also does. And also the reality is that most of the time when you look at the Deadly Assault, it's like Defiler, the Vesper boss, and then there's like, I don't know, Wandering Hunter. All bosses that fuck Miyabi. So where does this leave us? Miyabi is still a great character, she's still fun, she still can clear. But I think, and I believe, subjectively and objectively, not metaphorically or any other fancy way, she's not tier 0. If you're a new player looking for the best DPS to pull, she's not the one to pull. And if you're a veteran still defending her out of loyalty, just look at the boss rotations, my man. The game has moved on, even if you haven't. Also, I swear this isn't because Puromiya is coming out. I have been thinking about this video ever since they put Miyabi down in TN 0.5 and then they just moved her back up. It really doesn't have anything to do with my queen Poromia. Anyway, thank you for watching. I explained why I didn't upload for 2 months in the pinned comment or something because I don't want to take your time. Bye.